Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a laundry chat with you guys and just kind of catching you guys up how I've been doing now that I'm back to work full time, how Elizabeth has been doing transitioning with me going back to work and her not being with me all day. So I have some laundry here to fold and I thought I would do a laundry chat with you guys today, catch you guys up, and also kind of share with you how I prepared myself to go back to work, what I wish I would have done differently, if there was anything I would have done differently to help the transition a little bit easier. So if you like watching laundry chats, or you're just curious about what it's been like in my experience going back to work and putting my daughter in daycare and just her being in somebody else's care when I'm back at work, then definitely keep watching. I post new videos every Friday, or not every Friday, but every week. I do try to post on Mondays. Doesn't always happen, but I do try. I'd say like 8% of the time. Like, I've been doing really good. It's also Friday night, and I think this is going to be my new filming time to kind of get in any videos that I want to get done. Obviously, routine videos and things like that I'll have to film during the day, but any talking videos, things like that, I'm going to try to film at night. My husband is doing a permanent night shift, and I'll kind of get into more of that when I start folding the laundry. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that. And so I kind of have the house to myself. Elizabeth is asleep. I have my cat, but for the most part, it's just me, myself, and I, and it gives me time to film. And it's a Friday night, so I don't work tomorrow, and I can kind of just like put things off or just stay up a little bit later as I don't have to work tomorrow, and I can kind of have more of a relaxed day, if that makes any sense. So yeah, if you like these type of videos, definitely subscribe. I also make other sorts of mother and lifestyle videos. I love fashion, beauty, and just sharing my life and experiences and any like tips and tricks and advice that I've had in my 27, almost 28 years of living. So yeah, I'm also an ECE. Thought I'd share that with you guys as well. I'm an early childhood educator. That is what my education background is. And yeah, let's actually get started this time and fold some work. Alrighty, so I've got my notes here to make sure that I mention everything I want to mention about what I did to kind of prepare myself back to work, just because I started this like a month ago, so I want to make sure I go over everything while I'm folding laundry. So if you see myself kind of like glancing down and like looking at this, that's what that is. So I thought I would start off with the first thing that I did. So I went back to work after the Canadian long weekend, so I went back May 21st. My maternity leave was officially done, I think like beginning of April, and I did not want to go back until my daughter was at least 1 year old. I wanted to make sure I spent that full 12 months with her, and I went off early because I had gestational diabetes and like severe back pain near the end, and it was just too hard for me. And I'll get more, well, I was gonna say I'll get more into like what I do for a living later in this video, but I already told you I'm an early childhood educator, so I guess I can just tell you now. But Sunshine, you're really like, oh my gosh, you're really not helping me. You're gonna get your fur all over this laundry. But yeah, so I'm an early childhood educator, and I was in the toddler room. And if you've ever been in the toddler room or worked in the toddler room at like 35 weeks pregnant, or like past 35 weeks pregnant and had gestational diabetes, I give you props, because it was just getting too much for me. And I just found it hard to check my blood sugars and making sure I was eating what I was supposed to be eating. And yeah, it got to be too much. And with 5 weeks left until baby was due, I actually only had like 3 weeks left of work. It just didn't make sense to put me in another room with other children and have them get used to me for 3 weeks, as I do have my ECE. I'm not an assistant, so you'd have to switch ECEs, and it just didn't make any sense to do that when I was going to be off in 3 weeks. So, oh, excuse me, I ended up giving my 2 weeks, and I told her that I was coming back at the end of May. I didn't know when she was going to come, so it's kind of hard to plan around that, but I wanted to for sure not come back until she was 1 year old. Now, because I ended up having gestational diabetes, I was considered a high-risk pregnancy, and they didn't want me going over my due date. So something about gestational diabetes is if you don't take care of it properly, then your baby can be born prematurely and overweight. So he or she may not be fully developed, and has to be, say you have to be induced early, or I don't know, maybe the baby comes early on its own, but it has been known that somebody with gestational diabetes can have a larger size baby if they don't take care of their diabetes properly. So I was really good about it. It was probably the most healthiest I've ever been. I eat salads all the time, and I really made sure my sugars were in check. And before I found out I had gestational diabetes, I was told that I had high blood sugar, that my blood sugar was high when I had my first blood test done to confirm that I was pregnant. So it didn't surprise me that I did get diagnosed with it, but also that I was reading 2.5 weeks early, my baby size. So once that I started doing the diet, then it became much better. So yeah, basically I went off at 35 weeks pregnant, but I didn't want to go back till I was a year. So I didn't, and I knew I was going back May 21st. It was a Tuesday. I liked that it was a long weekend, so I could go back after, or I had that extra day, and my daughter had turned a year on Mother's Day, and I knew that weekend was just gonna be crazy, and I didn't want to go back. Had her birthday been during the midweek, then yeah, I probably would have just gone back the following Monday, but I just didn't want to have a crazy busy weekend and then have to deal with all of her, gifts and things like that, and just going back to work. I just wanted to be as prepared as I could. So, so I knew I was going back May 21st, and so I went in about April, and I talked to my boss and kind of asked her what room I was going to be in so I could start talking to my coworker and kind of figure out what the shift rotations are like. So the nice thing about me being in the senior room is we don't start our shift. The earliest we start is 7:30, which gives me time to get up in the morning and get Elizabeth ready at a decent time. So I try to get up no later than 6 a.m. Depending how exhausted I am the night before, I'll go to bed earlier, but I'll set my alarm earlier. So I'll set my alarm for 5:30. But if I don't go to bed earlier, I'm usually in bed by 10. That's the goal anyways. And I'm up at 6 a.m. unless she wakes me up earlier. But usually it's 6 a.m. that I'm awake, because she'll get up at 6:30, and it gives me a half an hour to get myself ready before she gets up. And even if she does get up at 6 or earlier than that, it still gives us plenty of time to get both of ourselves ready. And then at 7 a.m. I try to make sure that she's getting dressed and we're out the door basically by 7:10, 7:15. I am only a few minutes away from work, so I can leave that late. But something I did before I started work, was I started setting my alarm clock and getting up around that time. Before, I was just letting myself sleep in until whenever she woke up, and I really wanted to get my body used to going to bed early and waking up early, so that it wasn't this big shock when I went back to work. Something else I also did was I would get ready as if I was going to work. So I would get dressed. I wouldn't necessarily put on my professional clothes, but just get dressed, do my makeup, do my hair how I would if I were going to work, and just basically get myself ready as if I was going back to work, so I could see how much time it would take me to get myself ready and how much time I need to give myself in the morning. I felt like this really helped me kind of get an idea of how much time I should give myself for my hair, how much time I should give myself for makeup, getting dressed, etc. And as well as I also kept an eye on the clock to see how long it took me to get Elizabeth dressed, and basically I would time myself in the morning to see how long I would need for both of us, which I feel really helped. Something else that I did to kind of prepare myself and get myself back to work was, the other thing I did was I only cleaned between the hours of 5 to 7 a.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. I didn't fold laundry, things like that during the day, as I knew that wasn't going to be realistic when I went back to work, and I tried to clean as if I was at work all day and I only had this many hours to clean and get things done. I also kind of figured out what I could do as well as what my husband could do, so that we could both help each other out, and just kind of make sure so that I wasn't cleaning until really late at night, or having to get up even earlier than 5 a.m. to do things. And honestly, at the end of the day, as long as your laundry is getting done and your dishwasher is loaded and started, or your dishes are washed if you don't have a dishwasher, I feel like that's all that's important. And for us too, I guess, like making sure her cloth diapers are ready for the next day. So that was something I did as well. And that's basically it. Those were the two things I did. I practiced getting myself ready and cleaning between those hours, and I feel like that helped a lot. I don't really have any regrets or things that I wish I would have done differently. I feel like that's helped a lot. And something else that we did too, I shouldn't say that, there's a few other things I guess you could say that I didn't write down that I'm just thinking about now, was we also prepped frozen crock pot meals. So we have a crock pot, and before I went back to work, I also looked up some recipes and like tried them out before, like, you know, eating them for the first time when I go back to work. And then we would freeze them, and that way if we ever had a busy night, crazy night, I could take it out the night before and then put it in the crock pot the following day. Now I haven't had to do that yet, but it's nice to know, peace of mind, that I do have meals frozen and ready to go if we need to do that, or even if like my husband sleeps in and I make time to make dinner, etc. It's ready and good to go. And then the last thing that we did to try and help myself is my husband took off the first week I went back on vacation, just to help himself as well, and everybody just have a smooth transition. Now for Elizabeth, what I helped her to ease the transition is I would visit my parents a lot. I would basically visit my parents every other day while I was on maternity leave for a year, so that she could get really used to my parents, and I would know 100% that she would be fine with them. And we'd also make sure that we would visit my husband's family on a regular basis so that she was comfortable with them as well. And so it was just nice knowing that when I went back to work, because 2 days a week my parents and his parents watch her, that she was in good hands, and that I knew she felt safe and comfortable and, you know, wasn't going to be upset being with them all day. And also I would try to make sure I gave myself an opportunity to leave her from time to time, and by the end of my mat leave I had left her up to 7 hours, and she was fine without me. And I think too it helps with her personality. She's never been like, obviously she's attached to me and I'm basically her favorite person in the whole entire world, like, to be honest, I think so. And she's fine. Like, she's not super clingy to me when I would get home. She would never, like, she'd be happy to see me. She'd want me to hold her and play with her, but she wouldn't, like, be upset if I left the room or walked away or anything like that. And the other thing I did too to prepare her, because she'd be going to daycare 3 times a week in the mornings, was I would visit once a week to my work and visit the infant room so that she was comfortable with the staff and knew the staff in the room and could just be really familiar with the area, with the building, things like that. And I have been back to work for 2 weeks now, like what, 9 days technically, so just shy of 2 weeks because then it was a holiday, and she's been fine. She has not had one teary drop off. She's not had one, well, I shouldn't say she's had a couple teary pickups, but she was fine. And then when she saw us, she started getting like teary, which is normal for kids. It's like they get so overwhelmed, they don't know what to do, and they just like cry, even though I know she's had a good day and I work there, so I know that like I could hear her if she was getting upset. So that is everything. That is how I'm doing. That is what I did to kind of help myself and Elizabeth. My laundry's folded. I just have the underwear left. And yeah, I hope you like this little chit chat video. Kind of gave you guys a little update on what's been going on in my life. And yeah, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.